Hey guys, thank you for watching the SlatRock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. And if you've already done so, just make sure that it's still active. Guys, today we present you with the 11 oldest wrestlers to win WWE championships. Number 11, Diamond Dallas Page becomes European champion at 45. If you want any proof that WWE severely mishandled former WCW World Champion Diamond Dallas Page, as if the stalking angle wasn't enough, then just take a look at his greatest achievement as a solo wrestler within the company. Despite Page being one of the few stars WWE picked up from WCW for the invasion angle, he quickly fell down the card after debuting. Page was buried time and time again by The Undertaker until he reached the very bottom of the barrel and was competing for the WWE European Championship of all things. To be fair to WWE, DDP was no doubt in the twilight of his career no matter how they treated him. Page didn't sign with the company until he was in his mid-40s. By the time DDP won the European title against Christian during a random episode of SmackDown in 2002, he was just about to turn 46. That makes him the oldest wrestler to win the European Championship. Number 10, Hulk Hogan becomes WWE Undisputed Champion at 48. Given that Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon have something of a unique relationship formed when they took over the world of wrestling in the 1980s, it feels like they could always make up, and Hogan could win the title no matter how old he gets. That may sound insane now, given that Hogan is in his mid-60s, but the idea was implausible enough back when he was pushing 50. This didn't stop WWE from giving him the title, though. 1 month after returning to the company as part of the NWO and becoming a face during his legendary match with The Rock at WrestleMania 18, Hogan pinned Triple H at Backlash 2003 to become Undisputed Champion at the age of 48 years and 8 months. It was an obvious nostalgia run, but that never stopped the fans from chanting his name. The Hulkster's matches were slow and plodding, which is likely why the title was quickly put on The Undertaker just a month later. Number 9, Goldberg becomes WWE Universal Champion at 50. There were a number of times during Goldberg's 173-match undefeated streak that it felt like he would be the WCW World Champion for as long as he wanted. Of course, that's not how things actually unfolded for Goldberg, as everything came to a halt at Starrcade 98, with WCW going out of business just a few short years later. This didn't spell the end for Goldberg, however. He made a shocking return around 2 decades later, and had one more stint as a force of destruction. He returned to WWE just shortly before turning 50, and defeated Brock Lesnar at the 2016 edition of Survivor Series. A few months later, Goldberg would add another victory to his belt at Fastlane when he defeated Kevin Owens and became Universal Champion. Unfortunately for Goldberg, the run would last much shorter than his first on the top. Goldberg would only hold the championship for a month before dropping it to Lesnar at WrestleMania 33. Number 8, Billy Gunn becomes WWE Tag Team Champion at 50. Billy Gunn was an incredibly versatile wrestler and became one of the most decorated tag team performers ever in WWE. He would win the WWE Tag Team Championship 11 times with 3 different partners. The time between his first and last runs with the title were an astonishing 19 years, a testament to his endurance as both a performer and a character. Nostalgia was also a factor in the decision that put the WWE Tag Team Championships on Billy Gunn and Road Dogg at the 2014 Royal Rumble. The New Age Outlaws cemented the return to the company by defeating Cody Rhodes and Goldust. Billy Gunn was 50 years and 4 months old when he lifted the title, making him the oldest man to have won that title. The Outlaws would lose the titles around a month later to the Usos, and both men essentially retired after that. If there's someone out there that isn't down with Billy Gunn's big win, well, he's got 2 words for you.
Suck it!
Number 7, Roddy Piper becomes World Tag Team Champion at 52. Roddy Piper was known for changing the questions whenever someone had all the answers. This even applied to his retirement when he came back for one more run. Piper was one of the best villains in the history of WWE, becoming an icon when he battled Hulk Hogan at the very first WrestleMania back in the 1980s. He continued to earn success across WWE and WCW in the 90s. He may not have won the World Championship for either promotion, but he was nevertheless a huge star and legit legend, leading to a number of nostalgic appearances after retiring. As well as making a number of passionate speeches before major pay-per-views, Piper would make a massive comeback at Cyber Sunday 2006 when fans voted him in to be Ric Flair's partner for a World Tag Team title match against current champs the Spirit Squad. The Team of Legends won their bout and became the oldest men to hold the belts, as Piper was aged 52 years and 6 months. They only held the titles for 1 week though, losing them to Rated RKO. Number 6. Gerald Brisco becomes WWE Hardcore Champion at 53. Wrestling fans that started watching wrestling during or after the Attitude Era would remember Gerald Brisco as being one of Vince McMahon's stooges during the feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Fans that have been watching longer may have recognized Brisco as a major star of early wrestling. Gerald wasn't even the most famous Brisco. That would be his brother, two-time NWA World Champion Jack Brisco. Gerald still won several regional titles as both a single wrestler and with his brother as a tag team. Gerald's final championship came long after his brother Jack retired. Jerry made use of the 24/7 rule to defeat Crash Holly for the WWE Hardcore Championship on an episode of SmackDown in 2000. Holly won the title back at the next episode of Raw, and Brisco won it right back, becoming a 53-year and 8-month-old two-time Hardcore Champion. Just a few seconds after this, he would lose it to Pat Patterson, who is going to appear later on the list. Number 5. Chavo Classic becomes WWE Cruiserweight Champion at 55. While Chavo Guerrero Sr. was not quite as famous as younger brother Eddie, he was nevertheless a popular wrestler during his time. Chavo Guerrero Sr., along with his brothers, sold out arenas during the 70s and 80s. Chavo himself would win a number of regional championships. While Chavo became a star with a babyface persona, he would be a villain from start to end of his return to WWE in 2004 as Chavo Classic. Chavo Sr. debuted when Chavo Jr. was Cruiserweight Champion. Chavo Classic helped his son to retain his championship by any means possible. Things changed during a triple threat match on SmackDown, when Chavo Classic came out on top of his own son and Spike Dudley to become the oldest WWE Cruiserweight Champion at age 55. He would drop the title to Rey Mysterio just under a month later, and pretty much retired after that. Number 4. Ric Flair becomes World Tag Team Champion at 57. When Rowdy Roddy Piper became the second oldest man to win the World Tag Team Championship at Cyber Sunday, he stood next to his friend, the even older Ric Flair. Piper was practically a spring chicken compared to 57-year and 8-month-old Flair. Their reign only lasted a week before they lost the titles, so it's not like the pair had to do much. Then again, Flair became the oldest Intercontinental Champion just a year before when he beat Carlito at Unforgiven 2005 at the tender young age of 56. This win would hardly be a fluke, as Flair held on to the title for 6 months before dropping it to Shelton Benjamin on an episode of Raw. Neither of these title wins match up to winning 16 World Championships, but this doesn't change the fact that Ric Flair made history one more time during his storied career. Number 3. Pat Patterson becomes WWE Hardcore Champion at 59. As well as being a massive star in his day and being incredibly charismatic, Pat Patterson has been Vince McMahon's right-hand man behind the scenes for years. He was responsible for scripting some of the biggest matches and angles in wrestling history. McMahon would reward Pat for his service and loyalty by letting him stay on screen long after the average expiration date for a wrestler. To be fair, it was usually as his stooge as a commentator. Even so, Patterson would occasionally find himself in the ring alongside his fellow stooge Gerald Brisco. Immediately after Brisco won the Hardcore Championship from Crash Holly in 2000, he immediately lost and re-won it, only for best friend Pat Patterson to get in on the action by taking the title for himself at 59 years old. The two had a hardcore evening gown match at King of the Ring 1999, scarring the eyes of anyone watching and destroying their legacy. Somehow, this would all end with Holly taking back the title and no one mentioned anything that happened ever again. Number 2. Vince McMahon becomes ECW Champion at 61. As the owner of the largest sports entertainment franchise in history, Vince McMahon is allowed to do just about anything he wants within his own WWE universe. He's been known to do this on several occasions, seemingly for no reason other than satisfying his own ego. In the interests of staying fair, we will say that wasn't necessarily the case when he won the WWE Championship on SmackDown at the age of 54. Vince defeated Triple H for the title and vacated it just a few days later on the next Raw. This wasn't exactly necessary, but it did at least fit the storyline, and Vince was hardly portrayed as being dominant. That was also how he was treated when he became ECW champion Do-Rag McMahon during his 60s. Vince won the title by defeating Dominator Bobby Lashley in a 3-on-1 match at Backlash 2007 with the help of his son Shane and Umaga. McMahon dropped the title back to Lashley around a month later. Number 1. The Fabulous Moolah becomes WWE Women's Champion at 76. We all know professional wrestling is scripted. That means that WWE really could make anyone they wanted champion whenever they wanted. Whether the victory would be considered believable or not is another matter, as WWE always finds some way to make things work with some twisted logic. Just look at all the other people on our list for examples of that. However, this wasn't the case when the Fabulous Moolah had one last stand at the age of 76. Moolah returned and defeated Ivory at No Mercy 1999, winning the WWE Women's Championship and becoming the oldest wrestler to ever hold a title in the history of pro wrestling. Though Moolah would drop the title back to Ivory only 8 days later, the damage had already been done, and it was years before anybody took the belt seriously again. What's interesting is that Moolah would still have been the oldest ever champion even without this. Her penultimate run as women's champion came when she defeated Velvet McIntyre when she was 63 in 1987. Well guys, that's our list. Do you know of any older wrestlers that should have fit on this list that we might have missed? Please drop us a comment below and let us know. If you like this video, don't forget to check out our previous video, 7 WWE wrestlers who saved other wrestlers' professional careers. Also check out our other high-rated videos by clicking at the upper right-hand corner or down in the description field. If you did like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one and that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and as always, thanks for watching.